Here we go again. Oh my gosh, Fable's back. Are you ready for another AI hangover? I'm over here furiously trying to figure out what kind of prototypes I want, what kind of what I can get out of here in the next couple of days to set my own system up for success. Because God knows we probably will not have access to this thing again for less than $10,000 a month. Review Fable. Okay. I will go over exactly what I'm doing inside Fable. I have been experiencing several issues, and it's kind of funny because let's see, in general, I don't use this very much because I try not to use Claude as much as I can and try to use my own system. However, when Fable came out, I decided to sign up for a Claude, the $200 subscription, to get in there and play with it. I think it was around the 14th of June. So I got like one day using Fable. I was actually online using it when it got shut down by the US government because somebody over at Amazon found a security issue and complained, so it got shut down. And now it's back. It's back until the 6th, and you can see that here. I've got this drop down, and you can just click Fable 5 included until July 5th, and I've already tripped this thing up. Okay. So I know there's people out there saying they don't notice a difference. I can tell the difference. Call me bias or whatever, but here, let's see, which one was it? It was, and basically with responses from my Hermes, I go over to my terminal and copy and paste what he's saying to try to steer my Hermes to build out a couple of things I'm working on or rebuild things that I'm working on. And it was so annoying because here we go. Empty again. Do you see that? Do you see that? So I think what they're doing is they're trying to make it hard for people to build with Fable. I think that they don't like outside agents using Fable. And I think they're trying to minimize how much data we're using. So basically, when I go over and work with my agent and paste what he's saying, what Hermes is saying, and I put it in here, it shows up as a document here. And for one, you can only do 100 documents per chat. So whether that's a PDF or a screenshot or a text, like a notepad, it counts it as a document. So you only get 100 of those. And then see chat pause. So it didn't like, first thing I I tripped it up because I wanted it to build out a spec for a security department. So I'm building out my system with different departments. So I'll have a financial department, a legal department, a tax department. It did not like that. It would not do anything with the word tax in it. And I had to learn by tripping it up and then you have to go to edit to retry Fable. And you have to go back in here and try to figure out which words are triggering. So with security, I tried watchdog, I tried patrol, I tried a bunch of different things. And then I said, okay, fine, run it with 4.8 max. And it did. It ran it through 4.8 max. And then I put it back to Fable. And I said, review the above and make it better. And that didn't work either. It stopped. So I don't know how people are out here just having a great time with Fable. I find it very frustrating for what I'm trying to use it for, and I think that's on purpose. I just have a feeling that people like me probably use a lot of data, and so what I ended up having to do, instead of doing a simple copy and paste, like highlighting text, copy, and then bring it over here. So for example, let's say I do research AI systems white papers. Okay, so let's just say I go here and I want to take all of the, oh man, this isn't working. See, nothing gives you anything anymore. Let's go to news. Maybe this will give me something to chew on. Okay, let's say I want to copy all of this and tell Hermes to make a report about it, or tell Fable to do a report. So I'll do copy, and then I'll go over here and I'll go, see how it puts it, so any kind of so it won't put it into the prompt, it'll only attach it as this document here, so that counts as one document now. And I say review and give me a presentation on this. And I also noticed if I didn't tell it, so before, the first time I used it, I would just type really anything and it would produce something. It would produce a website, an HTML document, a PDF, an Excel. It would always produce something the first time around we used it. And this time it did not do that by default. I really had to say, okay, thank you, now write a spec. And that, or give me a guide, or give me, I had to be very specific, like give me a presentation on this. Otherwise, it wasn't automatically generating an output. And we just burned through $50, just so you know. Like, this thing burns money, just so you know. That's why this is so valuable this time. So it's like, okay, we've got 3 days. Here we go again. Oh my gosh, Fable's back. Are you ready for another AI hangover? I'm over here furiously trying to figure out what kind of prototypes I want, what kind of, what I can get out of here in the next couple of days to set my own system up for success. Because God knows we probably will not have access to this thing again for less than $10,000 a month. And AI is just not getting any cheaper anytime soon. So furiously trying to figure this whole AI systems automation thing out and trying to build out as many pipelines as I can, and using Fable to help me do that. Now, with regular Claude, this would probably be done by now, but it's cranking. It is cranking. So I did this because I wanted to show you guys that it basically defaults now to loading a document. So you only get 100 documents per chat session. And I'm just one of those people. I have like a long thread because I like the agent to have all of my history, and I tend to just keep adding and adding and adding, which is my problem with building too, because the context gets really long. Why am I all glitchy? Wonder if that's coming through on your end. Should I switch over to a different internet? So I have two internets. Yeah, I have the Elon Musk internet and I have my regular Cox cable internet. So we'll see if Elon's doing any better. I know we have some solar flares kicking off. And that's one thing I want to do with you guys is just kind of take you around the internet and show you what I look at, some of the things that I'm considering. Is it still glitching? It's trying to reconnect, get a stable internet connection. Recording. Oh my gosh, I just did all that. So what happened was I've heard other people using Fable and just doing great with it, but I am calling it Fumbling Fable now because I don't know that it's any better than Opus 4.8. It's kind of annoying with some things. I got flagged like right away. And one of the things that happens is when I'm working in the terminal and I copy and paste something that I want feedback from Fable on, it tends to be a large text like this. So to give you an example, I've highlighted this and I copy and pasted it over to Claude. And we'll go over to this presentation request here, and here it is. And of course the first one didn't go through. Let's see. Create this. So, all right. So when you take a large amount of text and you put it in the prompt, it creates a document. And I like to make really, really long threads. So as the thread grew, once you hit 100 documents, you basically have to start a new thread. That's fine. But for a while, what was happening to me is I would upload one of these and it wasn't able to read it. They have some sort of a limitation on it being able to read and produce documents, because the first time I used Fable, it would create a document, a spec, a guide, a website, just without even asking it to. It would just solve the problem and give you a material product of some sort. It would produce something other than just a simple response. And I noticed right away, the first couple of prompts that I gave it, it wasn't producing a document. I had to explicitly say, make a spec. And so that was my first thing I noticed. And then here I will show you these kids are going to kill each other. This thing was really, really, really annoying. I'll show you. Right. Oh my God, these kids are going to make me crazy. I'm going to start screaming. Oh, and then, let me show you this first. So, all right. So here, empty. See how it says empty again? Empty again. So what I was doing is I was taking what Hermes was giving me and I was putting it in here. So when you give it a long amount of text, it puts it in a document. And I would load these quote unquote documents, or just literally copy and paste from my terminal, and it would come back, couldn't read it. It's not able to read a simple text document. Okay, that's really weird. But Opus 4.8 can. So it doesn't default to producing things right away like it used to, and it can't read simple text. Okay. Which just generally tells me that they're trying to slow me down. They're trying to slow users like me down. So what I had to do is I had to give screenshots. First I gave it screenshots of this exact page in this terminal, thinking, oh, it's going to take this back and hopefully correct something, until tell Anthropic that there is a technical issue here. It can't even read a simple text document. And then I started going to what's it called? The notepad. And I was just putting things on a notepad and then printing to PDF. And it was able to do that because me having to screenshot everything, I was just trying to try different ways of getting the information into Fable. And so it was either screenshotting or putting it into a notepad and converting to PDF. And so those were my kind of two workflows that were slower and annoying, but did work, and it did eventually read the documents. So I've been calling it Fumbling Fable. I don't know. To me, the output doesn't seem as good as it was previously when it first came out. It was like magic, and it's still producing high quality work, but it's not. It's certainly not what it was. And I pissed it off right away. Like right away. I've heard other people say that they're not noticing any differences. But right away when I asked it, because I thought, okay, well, I want it to look at my security department. I want it to build out a security department in my agent HQ. And it didn't like that. It basically kicked me out. It put me in Opus. And you can even see this whole thread. You can see chat paused. And no matter what I do in this chat now, because I guess I was naughty one too many times. I asked about security one too many times. I wasn't trying to hack anything. I was just trying to get best practices and specs on security departments. And I tried different words. I tried watchdog and I tried patrol. I tried a couple of different terms, and the watchdog did work. And then when I tried it later, it didn't. And the other word it didn't like was tax. It didn't like the word anything about taxes, because I tried to build, I was like, okay, what's a spec for a good tax department, for agentic automated tax department? It didn't like that. Where the first time I used it, when it was more unrestricted, when these restrictions weren't out. All right, I don't even know where I was. We were talking about Fumbling Fable. I know I pissed it off right away because I asked it about security. I wanted to build out a security department, so I asked it for best practices, a spec for agentic workflows in a AI system with Hermes, and it didn't like that. And I used a couple of different words like watchdog. I tried patrol, and watchdog did produce a result. But for and then I also tried, I said, fine, run it through Opus 4.8 Max. And so I ran it through the security department prompt through 4.8 Max. And then I told it, review the above. I put it back into Fable and I said, review the above and make it better. And it didn't like that either. It kicked me out. So I'm basically now at chat pause. This whole thread, anything I do to this thread, it basically tells me, even if I say edit and retry with Fable, it's kind of blackballed this thread. And I asked it to build a tax department, an agentic workflow for a tax department. And it did not like that either. It wouldn't build anything related to taxes. So all these things, it's just funny to me that other people are like, yeah, it's great, it's building out all these games and stuff. And I'm like, oh, it flagged me right away. I pissed it off right away. So I'm still using it. It's not what it was, in my opinion. And it's not, and they're making it harder for people like me, trying to put all these limits on the documents. And now we only have 3 days left. But I'm still using it. It seems like it still has a higher executive function than 4.8. It's definitely restricted, and it's a lot closer to 4.8 Max, in my opinion, than it was before. But 4.8 Max is still an amazing model. It's still a great, amazing model. You can get a lot done. I think my subscription runs out around the 14th of the month of July. So I'm going to be in here working with Opus 4.8 Max and Fable as long as it's here, and continuing to build out my systems. But I just found it funny, Fumbling Fable during Mercury retrograde. So with that, happy 4th of July. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday, and like the video, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye-bye. Beach at Oxford. You can go and check out the whole thing. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's 45 minutes long, but I think it's important that we understand what agency is and what it means. It's just really great to look at definitions, and some people say that AI agents are not agents, true agents, because if you drop them into a jungle, they wouldn't survive. And then the argument against that is, well, yes, if you take a agent that specializes in chess, right, it can beat any human at chess. It's extremely good. There's a whole bunch of controversy in the chess space over AI. And all of that aside, you take that brilliant chess master, AI chess master, put him into the jungle in the Amazon, and it won't survive. And the argument against that is, well, you're dropping it outside of its ecosystem. Its ecosystem is a language model. It's language. It's bureaucracy. And same with us. If you were to take us, where we're native here to the earth, we're used to oxygen and gravity and all the elements here on earth, and you take us and you put us on Mars, we'll die instantly. It doesn't mean we don't have agency, though, right? So that argument doesn't really hold, but it's interesting to go through and listen to things like this, that basically oh my gosh, my nose is itching now that I actually hit record. So I recorded all this, and then I realized I didn't hit record because I'm trying something new. But he's basically saying that we didn't create Earth. We're here. We're just here. We were born here, and we're native here. And you don't necessarily have to create your own environment to thrive in it. And that agents will thrive in a world of law and bureaucracy and words. I had a funny thought, because here we've got a solar flare that just came in. That's impacting everyone. I guess there was some sort of a radio blackout. Yeah, so I also watch astrology. That's one reason why I follow Stefan Burns, because he doesn't just talk about space weather. He talks about astrological alignments. And I just found it interesting that Mercury retrograde started just the other day, like the same day that we got Fumbling Fable. And I'm like, well, is that why Fable's fumbling, or was it released fumbling on purpose? Who knows? So anyway, I'm not going to go into the full astrological thing. I'm not an astrologer. I don't know anything about this stuff, but basically there are a ton of alignments going on right now, and it's not just the inner planets, it's the outer planets that are shifting. The Earth is impacted by all the gravitational forces of all these planets. I mean, the moon influences our tides. So just think about how small the moon is compared to all of these other influences. And if the moon can impact waves on Earth, then, Mercury might impact technology, and Uranus and, all these things. And when they line up, those magnetic forces, or those alignments, can make changes here on Earth. And so it's just very interesting to think about. And I always like to know where the planets are, and that's why I follow him. But I just found it kind of funny that Fumbling Fable came out right on time with Mercury retrograde. I don't know how well you guys are doing with Fable. Hopefully everyone's doing well and getting a lot done. I know I'm still getting a lot done, but I'm just very suspicious of all these differences that I'm seeing. And it seems as though they're setting this up so that it doesn't benefit people like me as much as maybe some others that are just messing around playing, making video games and things like that. So with that, that's my update. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy 4th of July, and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.